everyone, it's Maxwell, and here we are with another Summer Little Bites. Today we are looking at a very unique cereal, Coco Pops. This cereal, I believe, is actually kind of discontinued, but we managed to get a fresh box. It might be one of the last ones ever, but we just wanted to see how it compares to its counterparts in stuff like Cocoa Krispies and similar such cereals. And here with me today to try this super unique cereal is a super unique actor, Mark Miller.
I don't know how unique I am.
I think you're very unique. I mean, let's look at your roles. I mean, you play a super mean warden of a mining colony on the Timeline Shifter Space Marines, or green screen centered sci-fi series for teenagers. You play a man who's a member of 4 friends who always come together at this all-American sausage shack, and but they're all still super friends even into their 50s, late 50s, and yet they all also have a secret that they've still been keeping all those years. I mean, those are that's some rage, I gotta say. And you know what else you did? And this wasn't acting, this is just a good idea on your part. When you came on the show before to review the unicorn cereal, just a silly little joke you did inspired the T-Rex and Catacorn name posters.
You have a little cat name poster?
Oh yeah, have you not seen this one?
No.
Yeah. We had 2. So you got something cute and you got something cool.
I use your T-Rex poster all the time because you'd be surprised the kids, they come up there and they just love to be able to look up their names, see what their dinosaur name's going to be.
And Mark, from behind the camera, let me, Mama Jennifer, ask, why do you accept a role? What do you look for something in particular? You know how different people accept roles for different reasons. Do you always want to play something new? Or do you like playing the same kinds of characters?
I just do it whatever I want because I think it's fun. The roles that you've offered, I always look at the plot and say, oh, that looks like fun, I know that you have people that they're quote-unquote serious actors. In other words, they're trying to make a career of it.
Yeah, sure.
And I've already had a career. And so now when I do acting, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody came along and said, we want to make a feature-length movie with you, and here's some money, I would definitely might consider that.
Yeah, or if they offered you a reoccurring role on a television series or something like that. Yeah.
But I never got into it for that.
Yeah.
It's just I could go all the way back my younger years before anybody here was born, and I was going to be an investigative reporter. And instead, I wound up in law enforcement and became a criminal investigator.
Yeah.
So things change, and things, so all of a sudden you find other things that you're interested in. So then after you get retired, then all of a sudden you go, oh, maybe just for fun of it, I'll try a little bit of acting.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like I said, I'm not one of these people that is highly trained professional that's done all these different roles,
If I could just interrupt.
Please, no, Maxwell.
For someone who's not professionally trained, I gotta say that you bring your all to those roles. Even as if you're just doing them for fun or just to see if you can. I do gotta ask. It sounded like you said a little something like that before. Did you ever dabble in any sort of acting just when you were younger? Were you in any acting clubs in school?
No, other than when I was going to school.
Yeah.
In grade school, which is different. In the 5th and 6th grade, they started pushing, so you had to get up and you had to do book reports. They started putting on plays. They started doing all this stuff. Now, my understanding is a lot of that in 5th and 6th isn't done anymore, just like they don't allow you to go on recess and all that stuff.
Sure.
So you got a little bit of experience there. And the only other, I guess, experience you would say I had, other than, like I said, learning how to do professional speaking and all that other jazz, because the jobs I had, was, I did go literally to an undercover investigator school for a couple weeks. So you learn some of the basis on, you're creating a role.
Yeah.
But in that case, you need to create a role that A, fits you, B, that you can, of course, remember.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Otherwise, now that you're, not who you say you are.
Yeah, you can't mess up on the job.
No, you can't. Now,
Yeah.
You can get hurt doing that.
No.
So, and then, kind of, I guess number 3 would be, you have to want to do that.
Sure.
And especially if you're doing a long-term undercover operation occurs, then you're literally creating you're creating a whole separate personality.
Yeah.
And with that comes dangers.
Yeah.
Because you're actually creating a whole other persona. So if that persona starts to take over,
Yeah, if you
you got a problem.
Yeah.
And so now they've got all these rules and regulations.
Yeah, there's no like director like on camera to
No,
say like
there's
cut.
nobody.
You gotta,
Nobody can yell and go,
yeah,
cut!
you gotta know like when to commit to a
Yeah.
role, that's
And when to let that role go.
Yeah.
And it's so great. I'm glad you shared that story, Mark, because that was actually going to be my other question to you is, have you ever found that acting ability was helpful in a job that wasn't in the arts? Well,
Yep.
it certainly was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
really cool.
There's a lot of jobs out there that you actually wind up having to put on a different face to play a role. Now, a lot of those have to do with first responders, and you talk to medical personnel, you talk to doctors, you talk to everybody like that. They're seeing people at their worst, and that doctor, that nurse, that EMT person has to come in and do something.
Yeah,
and they also have to communicate with the people, because because some people literally, they become hysterical. So you got to try to calm down the situation, so then you can also try to treat the person to hopefully save them. And that is probably, when you look at all those first responders, medical personnel, and law enforcement, and firemen, stuff like that. That is one of the hidden stressors, military too, stressors that leads to PTSD, because contrary to what we think, we want to promote the species like every creature out there.
Yeah, we want to help one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of helping one another,
should we help ourselves?
let's help yourselves to this cereal. All right,
Thank you so
Maxwell,
much,
will
Mike.
you pour the milk, please?
Absolutely.
For both of you.
Here you go, Mark. And while I pour the milk for you, I
Thank
can
you,
read
sir.
off the information.
Sure. And Mark, you can start taste testing. That's totally fine. Well, Maxwell, you read off the information.
Okay, so
How many servings are in that box, Max?
let's see. It's a little different on this box, as you can see. It has a slightly different nutritional information, and I believe that's because this is. I don't know if it's actually sold in America. It might only be in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see. Well, how is that? How is that? Mark?
Good.
Yeah.
Got good chocolatey meat taste. Does it have corn syrup in it? Out of curiosity, if so, season me now.
Glucose syrup.
That might be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's
Corn
different.
syrup. Yeah.
It's probably a little healthier because there's a lot of things that are allowed in breakfast cereals here in America that aren't allowed in other countries. And this box, I do believe, is actually from Canada. So there are 9 servings in this box. 17 grams of added sugar, looks like. There is the ingredients. Toasted rice, chocolate, sugar, glucose syrup, cocoa powder, barley malt, and a bunch of added vitamins. Oh, I see it turns the milk quite chocolatey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it does. I would say this is similar to Cocoa Krispies in some ways, but unlike Cocoa Krispies, the little Jennifer, if you could zoom in for a minute, the actual cereals are kind of more like rounded. They're more like little pellets than little little rice pieces.
And they're crispier.
Yeah, they are actually.
Because Rice Krispies, contrary to what they want to tell you,
Yeah, and contrary to the name.
Rice Krispies does get soggy pretty fast. This does not. This
Yeah.
seems to be more
That's still crunchy now.
closer to the larger size corn pops, sugar pops.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a nice
from
blend.
0 to 5 spoons, what do you guys rate this cereal? Obviously, you each get to rate it your own score.
Mark, do you want to go first?
Nope, I got my mouth full.
Oh, well, okay, I do not. So, you know what? I actually really like this, and the cocoa flavor is very nice. It has that nice the cocoa bitterness I like. It's actually a pretty strong cocoa taste too, which is nice. I really like the crunch. It has a very nice mouthfeel, and I'm honestly very impressed. It's kind of a shame that it seems like these aren't going to be sold for much longer, but I would say I could give this a 5. Actually, I think I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
I'd give it a 5 too, because like you said, it's flavorful and it keeps crispy. And that's one of the complaints about Rice Krispies. I know we're not supposed to complain about it and claim that I'm
we
attacking
can
the
compare.
brand, but Rice Krispies do sog up a little bit.
Fives across the board.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. This was really fun. See you next time, you guys. Start your day with silly and safe. Start your day with sassy and sage. Sincerely, simply, seriously, cereal.